What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another video. So I'm seeing Drake flopping, canceling another tour. What's going on with the boy? But this is a new fantastic hip hop. Why Drake's new song just taked off the charts, and Kendrick and Tyler defeat him again. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bell is on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. OG members, what's good with you? So, I've tried the, I really don't care too much as far as what's been, what Drake's doing. But it is interesting, which is why I decided to react to this particular video because it's like an accumulation, of this stuff in between. But seeing this and seeing people like academics and other people kind of react to as far as like, Drake not having the same, as before. And personally, I feel like whoever is guiding his rollouts are not doing him any favors. And even if it's him himself and he's just all like, let me just lean into trolling and different things like that just to get certain reactions, I feel like, everything that Drake has done, you think he would be above that, you know what I mean? But a lot of the moves that he's been doing has shown otherwise, so let's go ahead and check this out.
Now, when it comes to Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Tyler the Creator, and everything going on in hip hop right now, well, if you are ready to see how rap's Courtside Karen is bound to have another
Courtside
crash out
Karen.
because his music just tanked off the charts, all while multiple rappers he hates are charting comfortably over him, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now really, as Drake is just on an insane losing streak and it's so clear that it's not going to slow down anytime soon, make sure to leave that like because now as this entire crash out is bound to continue and continue in the worst way possible, really with this, what is getting more messy than ever for Lame Ol' Lawbery? All comes down to the fact of how in this month where we have seen these two distinct ideologies in hip-hop just clash with one another and try to show what music is really moving the culture and setting what is going to set the tone going forward, well, now, while Drake has shown that he is still a problem because he has dropped now 2 songs, which despite their quality, his fan base and his own annoyance have projected them to a decent spot on the charts. Still with this, for him, his own standards and what he needs to accomplish, the music is just failing to make any sort of an impact that leaves him beyond being a bronze medalist, because after the Drake standard used to be to drop any sort of a song and no matter how bad it was, it would pretty much just be a lock for the #1 spot. That is not how.
And what's crazy is that it's like some of the ideas that he's doing is really, really dope. It's a combination of the timing and sometimes what's within that, and the different track itself. So when he did the first of the video series that he was doing, it's just all like the concept dope, but how it was executed and different things that he had in there, it's just all like, okay, you're either really, really leaning into a particular character or you're trying to play like the tough guy, and it's unnecessary. So if he would have just went through and maybe just without the whole tough guy guns and all this other stuff, it's just all like, why? But the video idea itself and series itself isn't a bad idea. Him deciding to do live streams and different things like that, if it was studio sessions or just like him gaming different things like that, that would be dope. But it's like he's trying to, be in this almost gossipy, I'm holier than thou, I'm untouchable, and it just isn't hitting. The 100 gigabyte thing, great idea, bad timing because it seemed like he was trying to cover up, and it's like if you would have dropped that prior, I felt like it probably would have hit a lot better. So the reactions that I'm seeing to Drake, and it's more than, oh, let's just hate Drake. Some people are genuinely just all like, when is Drake gonna get back to making the actual bangers? Because even prior to the beat, there was a lot of that thought. Even me, even the few things that I did react to, like first person shooter, different things like that, I was like, I'm not, you know, Drake's part, I'm just like, I'm not really feeling this. Like, what's going on? Like, why did you let J. Cole get on this track and just devour it? You know what I mean? So it's just confusing the way that he's moving, because it's like I've heard him barred up, room for improvement, days, freaking what was that other one that was during that time? And then we got So Far Gone and whatnot, comeback season, I think. And it's just all like, even getting into So Far Gone and all this other stuff, it's just all like, he doesn't need to be super lyrical or anything like that. And that's what I used to like about Drake, is that his bars and punchlines, it was just all like he was blending commercial and underground in a dope type of way. But what we're getting now is just, it's just bad. You know what I mean?
And Drake would honestly be lucky to even get into the top 3, because from his new track Which One to What Did I Miss? Well, compared to the rallies and campaigns the Karens of rap tried to organize to get these songs to number ones, where they gave instructions on how to support Drake and boost this song, which I don't know, it just seems very weird. And if you're really sitting out here trying to project a song to get to a spot, it's just weird, because it shows that you derive your enjoyment from all of this from calculators and numbers compared to what you actually hear with your ears. And really now, why these people who don't even like art and just like numbers are so upset is because now, after Drake and Kendrick beefed at the top of the mountain for rap in terms of the fate of hip-hop, the industry, and so much else, it's clear that only one of them is really pushing things forward. And again, while Drake is still a problem, for Kendrick Lamar, he's got him wiped down with ease. And now, speaking of rappers who have Drake wiped down, what we are seeing now is that in this era where rap is shifting, well, between not having issues with tours and then putting up real numbers with a real impact, Tyler, the Creator, is way higher up this mountain as well, and is in a part where Drake will never be again, because after what Tyler just pulled off with the first week of Don't Tap the Glass, from the streaming debut and the total numbers that he did with just a 10-track album, overall, Tyler really has done something incredible, and I don't think people realize now that compared to other big albums this year like SSS for You, Music, or Jack Boys 2, which were all bloated with so much filler trash, numbers-wise, Tyler ended up doing about the same figures that they all did, but with half the tracks alone of the shortest album we are comparing it to, which was Jack Boys 2, which had 20 songs counting towards its streaming numbers. And overall, when you see the gap that Tyler has with these artists, and yet he just made a good... I don't even
understand why in 2025, I mean, I personally, just as a rapper myself, the most songs that I put on something, I think might have been like 16, 17, and that's like with included skits and everything like that. So it might have really been like, 13 to 15 actual songs. To do that many songs is unnecessary, and it's just all like, yeah, maybe more shots as far as to get stuff out there, but you would have been better off just dropping them as singles and not worried about an album. You know what I mean? Like, that is, or just make it a playlist, you know what I mean? Because that is crazy. No wonder Tyler, just on a, push out everything like that. That is crazy. That is like, I knew Jack Boys or whatever was that, because I recently had saw like a Fantano review of it or whatever, and I knew some sexy songs was that, but damn, just seeing the actual, like, it really just hit me. It's just like, yo, that is wild. And the fact that you have 40 songs between the two projects and maybe a handful are doing something. I think it's like Nokia, and Tyler with 10 songs is whooping y'all. Whooping y'all. Damn.
Album with the right amount of tracks and didn't just throw whatever music he could to try to inflate his numbers and inflate his impact. When you put together that this is what Tyler is doing in this very moment, and he is really beating in terms of performance and impact and every other possible metric that could matter in art, Travis Scott and Drake, who used to be seen as these giants, well, it's just showing that he has naturally become a superstar who has never had to rely on gimmicks and tricks to be at the top level. And now, speaking of relying on gimmicks, well, now, just as we celebrate Tyler on these charts, we have to now get back to lame old Lawbury, and now with him. Well, for Drake and his mission to try and reclaim the throne of rap and make a hit record that is not just a loser rallying call, but that reaches the top of the charts like his old single drops used to, no matter how bad they got. Well, unfortunately for Drake, nothing of the sort is happening right now, as with the two songs which he has just put out this month, and that he has been trying to make these sort of songs of the summer, you could say. Well, now, after What Did I Miss got on the charts, and Drake was mad, and the OVO community thought they were going to get it to #1 despite this quote-unquote industry setup that they kept trying to use to sugarcoat their failure. Well, after all of the talking and taunting, they failed even worse than you could have ever expected, and yikes. What ultimately is the reality of this situation now is that What Did I Miss missed so bad that it didn't just miss the top 10 of the charts, but it also missed the top 20, and at the end of the day, moved all the way down to number 23, and I guess with this, well, as Drake dissed LeBron in that song, and he likes using surface level symbolism that I guess is deep for the OVO fandom because they have no media literacy, this is kind of cool for them, and I guess they could flip this into a narrative in their own weird delusional stan world. But seriously, before we get into laughing at this thing and really looking at what it means, and everybody on Drake's side just tries to say that this was an industry setup and that's why it's failing and there's no other reason, let's just break it down. It's not that, and what it's really because of. Well, if you've watched The Sopranos, you will get what I am about to say. A hit is a hit, and this song right here, it's just not a hit. And now what I really mean by this is that when you see where music has shifted and see what it takes to make a hit record in 2025, well, overall, unless the artist who is making a song is a top streamer when they drop and you command all of the attention, which Drake is not.
Yeah, what Drake is not doing. See, and I'm gonna leave the full video in the description, but Drake really just needs to take a chill pill. I feel like and I get, some people are just like, yeah, the grind don't stop, da 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 da. Bro, you just got your ass handed to you in like one of the biggest battles in hip hop history. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Yeah. These are not singles. These are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase, all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, not only that, but you are canceling tours repeatedly. This is already the second tour that you canceled, and you're putting out rush projects, rush songs for what? For like, that's what's so confusing because it's just all like, just take a chill pill. Take a chill pill. Like, go away for a little bit. It almost seems like he would rather continue just head first through it, just keep on, pushing it back instead of like Fantastic Hip Hop brought up a good point, and it's just all like, for what is considered a quote unquote hit in 2025, you're not going to be able to go about it the same way that you've been doing. And I feel like Drake feels like he's got a formula. And if he just sticks to the formula, the fans won't care. And that's it. But if that was the case, then it wouldn't be doing as bad as it's doing. You know what I mean? But on top of just what I've been hearing from any of this stuff, I didn't hear as far as the new one, but I did hear What Did I Miss? And it's just not there. It seems like he's just throwing stuff out there, and in his mind it's better to do that than to take a step back, because by doing that, a lot of the narratives as far as Kendrick Lamar taking a step back and being able to come back after years, and it's so quality, all the while Drake just continues to drop, continues to drop, continues to drop. And I feel like every drop that he does is less and less and less of what he can actually do, and that's what's wild. So it's just all like, yo, hey, that's what it is, I guess that's the way he wants to go out. But I just think it's a weird strategy, because I'm not seeing any upside in any of the moves that he's been doing. So we'll see. But hey, it's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it with another reaction. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.